Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vegas Knows podcast, brought to you by BuckeyeScoop.com. I am Marc Givler, joined, as always, by Bill Greene. We had a week hiatus last week, but we're back at it. I know Bill personally struggled a little bit. I kind of got caught up in some stuff and didn't make my picks. So I guess I got out of Dodge. I did the smart thing. 0-0 last week, but we got some stuff for you today on college football. We're gonna have some NFL, of course. We may, I don't think this episode, but we may here in a few days as we get close to championship week and the college football playoff announcement, we may start looking at some possible future stuff. Like we did a couple weeks ago there with the mock matchups or whatever. But I think today we'll keep it pretty standard. We'll do our college run and we'll do our NFL picks. After that, Bill, what do you think here of the college slate this week? And, do you have a lot of games or kind of what do you have so far?
Yeah, I've only got 4. I got murdered last week and I'm trying to battle back from that. I'm now below 500 for the year, which I haven't been all year. And, I've had like 4 straight winning years doing this, and I'm trying to battle my way back and get over the Mendoza. The first one I have this week is Georgia's playing Missouri. And this is actually my favorite pick of the week. The total there is 54.5, which is pretty low for a college game. And if people haven't been paying attention, this is Kirby Smart's Georgia anymore. They are scoring points like crazy anymore since they went to Daniels at quarterback. They've really opened up that offense, but the reverse of that is their defense has had injuries. They are not the Georgia defense anymore either. So they're playing Missouri. Missouri with Eli Drinkwitz they've lost games, but they've been in a lot of games and they score points. That guy's really good as an offensive guy. The only thing there could be some weather issues in Missouri, but if everything stays good weather-wise, I think they'll get over that 54.5. They could come close to that in the first half. They'll be over 40 in the first half. So different Georgia right now, kind of looking more like Florida than they look like Georgia, So we wonder where would they have been if they could have played Daniels, from the start of the season. So I'm going to take the Georgia game over against Missouri there and kind of keep an eye on the weather.
Yeah, that was an interesting game to me as well. Going to be interesting to see if Georgia can kind of keep things going with JT Daniels. I was kind of waiting for him to get a chance. I don't know if that was an injury related thing where he just finally was cleared or if they've just made bad quarterback mistakes again with picking the right quarterback. But yeah, it's a different offense now. That's for sure. I am looking Big Ten here. The Big Ten has been almost impossible to predict. I don't know if any of us are over 500 and I'm not talking about the spread. I'm talking about straight winners. I don't know if any of us are above 500 this year. It seems like every week there's big upsets. Week to week, the consistency of play is not there. You don't know which teams are going to show up which weeks. So with that in mind, and I know this is probably I'm going with kind of a shorthanded team here and one, we'll see right now the game's being played. So, but I look at Minnesota, they're getting 10.5 at Nebraska. These teams have been so inconsistent this year. And so I'm going to take the 10.5 points with Minnesota. Look, Minnesota could win that game by 3 touchdowns. Would it shock anybody? And conversely, Nebraska could win that game in blowout fashion. I don't think it would shock anybody. But when you have 2 teams that are this inconsistent, give me the 10.5. So I'm going to go with that as my first one. What else do you have, Bill?
That was actually my number 2 pick, and I'm with you on that one. And we've said every week, we don't ever talk about our picks before the show. So conceivably, we could be on the opposite side of every game. But I'm with you on that one. I don't think Nebraska should be given 10 to Akron or Bowling Green. I don't think Nebraska's all. Minnesota, they've had so many guys hurt and out with COVID and everything, but they've had 2 weeks to get healthy. So I like PJ Fleck in an underdog role, and I'm going to take 10 points with anyone against Nebraska. I don't think Nebraska's any good at all. So I'm with you on that one. That was actually my second pick.
I got like another underdog here. I just love this game. It's honestly one of my 2 or 3 favorite games on the calendar every year. I love the Army Navy game. And it's not just that's not me blustering about how patriotic I am or anything like that. I grew up 45 minutes west of Philadelphia. That game was played in Philadelphia quite often. Um, I've been to the game several times in person. It's just a fascinating game to me. The over under in this game is 37.5. I'm actually not touching that. But that just tells me this is going to be like, 17-10 or 17-14. They are calling a very, very, very low scoring game here. So with that in mind, I'm going to take Navy +7. I will take the touchdown in this rivalry anyway. I think anything can happen in this game. People say that about rivalries, and oftentimes that's just people, romanticizing the rivalry, but literally anything can happen in the Army Navy game. There's been some crazy upsets in that series over the years. It just seems like it's always close, even if one team's 10-1 and the other team's 1-10. So I will take the touchdown. I'll take Navy +7 against Army.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat where it's 9-10 or 10-11 that the underdog is covered in that matchup. So you got a lot of history on your side there. My third pick is, and I get this team wrong week, and I don't know why I don't ban myself from this team, but I'm going to take Texas -29.5 playing Kansas, and it's more a play against Kansas. I can't believe any of those kids want to play football this week. Texas, they led Iowa State for over 59 minutes the week before. They murdered Kansas State last week. And scored 60-some points in the process. Kansas got fired a couple of years ago. I don't know if there's too many kids on the team there that remember that, but I just think this is really set up for Texas to just annihilate Kansas, where one team's kind of cooking right now, still playing for a bowl game, and the other team, I don't know why they're showing up for this at all. So Texas -29.5, pick number 3.
Oh, okay. This is my last one, and there was another one I looked at, and I'm not going with it. So I'm going to make this my last one. I'm not going to do the fourth one. We'll see if you're playing it or not. I think you might have slipped when I was telling you I was thinking about it. You might have slipped. You didn't play it, but so I guess I'll just throw this out there. I'm looking at LSU +23 at Florida. I have not played that, and I don't think I will. But I contemplated it because if LSU has any heart left at this point, they will cover that spread. That is an absurd line for that game, but that just shows me that Vegas thinks LSU has just mailed in the season, which maybe they have. So I've thought about that, and I'm not doing that. But the one I like USC -2.5 against UCLA. I don't know that USC's looked great, but they've avoided that stubbing their toe moment they seem to always have under Clay Helton. To this point, they've pulled out some close games, maybe one or two they shouldn't have. But I just have to think they're 3 points better than UCLA at this point. I too many weapons. They got some real pros there at receiver. So give me USC -2.5 against UCLA.
Yeah, I'm in the Pac-12 too with my last pick, and I'm going to go with Arizona State. They're giving a ton of points to Arizona. They're giving them 11. Arizona's god awful. They're terrible. Arizona State, they haven't played much because of COVID, but I watched them in the opening game of the year. They had USC beat. They were the better team. They had the game won. They had some tip balls in the end, really some craziness. Going to go with my boy Diamante, train him there to rush for probably 150 yards against Arizona, and I think they will murder Arizona. I know it's a rivalry game, but I think Arizona State's really good. I think Herm Edwards is a really good coach, good staff. I think they're going to pound Arizona. So that's my fourth and final pick here.
All right, that'll do it for our college picks. Now we'll move to Bill's favorite, the NFL. We all know how much he loves the NFL and how much he views himself as an NFL expert handicapper. So we will go to Bill's favorite topic. Interesting games this weekend with some weird. A lot of close lines, a lot of 2 or 3 point lines. But some interesting games, just in terms of like injuries and maybe a team running hot versus a team running cold. I mean, just a lot of interesting dynamics I think at play this week in the NFL. We're kind of hitting the playoff stretch, but what do you have so far? Maybe throw out your top pick or something you really like for this weekend in the NFL.
Yeah, I've been, dying in the college after last week, actually kind of pecking away at the NFL stuff and been doing fairly well in the NFL, which I don't expect to last. First pick this week is I really like Tennessee coming off that horrible performance last week against the Browns. They were not ready to be, and they just got pounded. But in the second half, they showed a lot of life, and they're really good. They're playing Jacksonville this week, giving Jacksonville 7. I'm going to lay the 7 points there. I think Jacksonville is just awful. I think they want the first pick or try to fight for that first pick at the second. I don't think they're trying. Tennessee's not very good defensively, and I don't think Mike Glennon's going to be the one to exploit them. So I'm going to roll with the Vrabels there, -7.
Texas has been your nemesis here in college football. My nemesis this year in the NFL has been the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know why I've bet on them so much, but here we go again. I was able to get -3 against Cincinnati. I've watched the Bengals here the last couple of weeks. You talk about a team that just is depleted right now. I know they might get Joe Mixon back, it sounds like, but that offensive line is just in shambles. Brandon Allen is not Joe Burrow. It's rendered the receivers almost useless. I know that as a Tyler Boyd fantasy owner, how that guy has cratered from an elite fantasy wide receiver option to almost I don't know if I should play him option. I just don't know how Dallas doesn't win that game by 3 points. I don't know how it happens, but Dallas has continually face planted this year. So maybe I'll be wrong again, but I will take Dallas -3 against the Bengals.
Okay, good luck. I'm off Dallas. I was able to Dallas. I can't get off the Longhorns. So my second pick is I'm going to go with Carolina this week against Denver. I like Matt Rule. I like Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Anderson, those guys. Denver has all their DBs are out this week. And I mean all of them. With DBs that they were with quarterbacks 2 weeks ago. So I think Carolina -3.5. I think they're going to beat Denver. I think they'll beat them pretty easily. And I like the Carolina offense, and I think they're gonna roll it up on Denver.
Here's another one I kind of I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but here we go again. I have been not a Colts person, and I'm going to be not a Colts person again this week. I am taking the Raiders +3. I think that's a team that did not play well last week and will bounce back with a better performance. They need this. I think they'll be able to do some things against that Colts defense. I think they will cause Phillip Rivers some issues. And I think the Raiders will actually beat the Colts straight up. But I'm going to take the 3. And I am just asking to go winless this week in the NFL by continuing to fall into the same freaking traps that I've fallen into all year. But there we go. What's next for you?
Yeah, for me, it's the Bay. They haven't played well lately. They need this game. They're at home, given 6.5 to Minnesota. With Minnesota, I mean, the whole thing for them is Dalvin Cook. And he was unbelievable early in the year, but the last 2 or 3 games, he has not been able to run the ball at all. They've got a ton of O-line injuries in Minnesota. And even if he was running the ball well right now, Tampa Bay, you cannot run on them. And I don't care who it is. Nobody gets over 40 yards against Tampa Bay running the ball. So that puts that game in Tom Brady versus, Kirk Cousins. And I'm going to roll with Brady on this one. I think Tampa Bay is going to whack Minnesota, put them out of their misery completely. And Tampa Bay's, headed to the playoffs. So it's a mismatch. And I'm going to roll with Tom Brady and Gronk and those guys.
might strangely be my favorite pick of the week. Certainly in the NFL it is. I'm going San Francisco -3 against the football team. Just smells like letdown coming for Washington after that kind of miraculous comeback. I don't know, it wasn't a miraculous comeback in terms of the points, but just it looked like that game was over pretty early, and they just kind of chipped away and God kind of pulled one out there at the end. Totally unexpected upset last week there against Pittsburgh, but back down to earth on a short week, going out to San Francisco. San Francisco getting a little healthier. They're not all the way back, but they're getting there. And they've quietly played better the last several weeks, even through the injuries. They have quietly kind of stayed in the wild card race. So they need this one. I think a San Francisco team that's getting a little bit healthier, playing well lately, and a Washington team that that's just a total letdown scenario for me. That's a major letdown. Just the fact that San Francisco is even favored is kind of a red flag that, they're kind of begging for some action on Washington there. So, I'll roll with the 49ers.
All right. My last pick in the NFL is actually my NFL game year.
Oh,
okay. I play the same amount on every game, every week. But this time this will be my heaviest play in the NFL this year. And I'm going with the Cleveland Browns at home. They're half. They won't need them. They're playing Baltimore. I think Cleveland is really cooking. I think they're really good. And I think Baltimore is a shell of what they were last year. I think the league has figured out Lamar Jackson can't throw the football. And I think Baltimore right now is a team that's going to pound the bat. Baltimore is Ohio State with JT Barrett. They're going to annihilate the bad teams and set school records and all that stuff. And then you're going to play a great team and score because you can't throw the ball. So that's where I see this Baltimore team. I think Cleveland, they got revenge on their mind. They got murdered by Baltimore in week 1. Cleveland's going to beat this team. They might beat them easily. They're a better team than Baltimore. And I think Baker is the key here. He's got to continue to play well. I don't see any way Lamar Jackson throws the ball on Cleveland and hurts him throwing the ball. So I think they're easy to prepare for. And I think the Browns are going to beat them. I think they're going to beat them easily. And this is coming from a dedicated Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So it kind of breaks my heart to have to make this pick. But we'll take money over feelings any day of the week. And I think this one sets up as my biggest play of the year in the NFL so far.
Well, if that happens and the Steelers, who are kind of a little bit surprisingly couple point underdogs at Buffalo, if that holds up, all of a sudden that division gets a little interesting. Given where it was, a week ago, it was like, well, this is over. But yeah, now all of a sudden it could get a little interesting if those two results come in. But yeah, Cleveland's playing well. I mean, certainly, boy, they looked good against Tennessee there that first half. Holy cow! So. Interesting. Yeah, I think anytime a team playing as well as Cleveland right now is getting points at home against a team they have a better record than, I mean, that's now, is it a trap? is the question. Are we falling in the trap there of that line maybe almost being a little bit fishy or maybe not? Because I think there's a general opinion out there by a lot of people that actually Baltimore's better than Cleveland. I don't think that's necessarily true. But I think just average Joe fan on Sunday is still thinking Baltimore's probably better than Cleveland. So maybe that line's about what Vegas should have it at. So that'll be interesting. It's going to be a great game. I'm excited to watch that actually. So, okay. Well, that's our NFL slate. Do you have anything left on NFL or was that it?
No, that's enough for me. Save the best for last.
Okay, I thought so. I'm taking it slow. I didn't really love the NFL lines this week. A lot of 2-3 points. I'm like, ooh, I don't know about these. So I tried to just stick to 3 this week, not go crazy. But all right, well, we'll get this up for you guys. Enjoy the games as always. If we have any other thoughts or games we add, we'll put them on the message board at buckeyescoop.com. So feel free to check that out. But we'll see you next week and good luck this weekend.